Welcome back. Welcome back to the fifth installment, the fifth episode, Game 5 of 9 for the most recent batch upload over the coming months for Medusa II, the most recent evolution of Project Hero, Slice of Life, row. And today's key concepts, again, it's like 6 a.m. Spotify in the morning, YouTube as well. And also our live stream currently live in the evening on Twitch. But today's concepts actually, which will not be mentioned, will hover around the general ledger and journal entries. So if you're familiar with accounting, the journal ledger is where you post all the changes per each account, and the journal entry is an entry that you would put in for each specific transaction per account. So it's a compilation, essentially a history of all transactional changes within financial activity within a operation or business. And what I'm showing right now on screen on video are the accounts receivable, revenues, expenses, inventory entries. You would, for example, in this case, what looks to be a debit account receivable and $80, $80, and a credit decrease in revenues, and credit increase in revenues means that there was a payment received. There was a promise to make a payment for a certain good or service, and within reasonable, particular concept of matching concept or the conservative concept, we have make a reasonable judgment that once that the customer or consumer will actually make do and follow through with their promise to pay for the purchased goods. And so expenses and inventory below then. Of course, every time that a business consumes inventory in the production of product manufacturing, depending on what type of business it is, we will have expenditures become expenses. And now just been expensed, we deduct that from inventory. So it's a credit decrease in inventory and a debit increase to expenses. And that would be noted on the general ledger and the accounts. So that's what's shown here, as well as on live stream right now. There's a tiny little snippet. I can't show very much once again. Copyright and everything. I'm being very prudent and showing very, very tiny snippets of unidentifiable components of just very large PDF files, just showing just a little bit of the documentation. So there's a chart here, there's a balance sheet, there's a general ledger, adding up, tallying up all the expenses per monthly basis. Now next, as you can only see, not live on stream, but only here on video or podcast on Spotify. So this is a separate PDF documentation showing the PB ratio. So it's a price to book ratio, market cap over book value. So in this case, we had a module covering all sorts of accounting analysis. So what that means is that you essentially take a variety of different ratios to analyze the overall health and well-being of corporate business. And you can do that by, essentially taking divisions and ratios of all the various different values that you can see presented on the balance sheet and the net income statement to calculate solvency, liquidity ratios, assets to equity ratio, the assets to current debt, quick ratio, and so on and so forth, to see what's the turnover rate for inventory, turnover rate, how often the consumers or clients pay, how often is a company able, or a corporation able to pay back its debt to its lenders, and so on and so forth. also have, in terms of equity, in this case, share price, outstanding shares, shareholder equity. We're talking about investors and lenders, borrowers. How much earnings? What's the comparison to market price, between market price and the actual value of per share or earning? And so that's what's also covered here in this particular second document. Next one, and the last one for this episode, has to do with balances and the balance sheet. The very first lesson, or first lesson of the first chapter, first module, covered the balance sheet. So assets, liabilities, equity, and we're not going to say much more than that. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but what you see on the screen, there's not a whole lot to see because we're not going to show very much anyways. But it works through a variety of different entries that you would do. So for example, on the balance sheet, you would show current liabilities, divided non-current and current assets, current and non-current or long-term liabilities as well. And then you have in the equity section, retained earnings for the owners, and then also, I believe, capital and net income. So all that comes together, and you can break things down further into inventory, accounts receivable, accounts payable, bad debt expense, amortization, depreciation expenses, and depreciation on asset, PPE, so plant, property, and equipment as well. What else is retained equity? You have common stock, and treasury, and so on and so forth. So that's everything for this particular episode.